Hey everyone, and welcome to Chef AJ Live. I'm your host, Chef AJ, and this is where I introduce you to amazing people like you who are doing great things in the world that I think you should know about. Well, today we're going to talk about one of my very favorite herbivores, elephants, and a new hope for them in their communities and the environment. And back for the show, we have Colby and Diane. They are from Gentle Giants. Please welcome them back. And you got to check out their T-shirts. I hope they're selling them because I definitely want the purple one. How you guys doing?
Very good. Thank you so much, Chef AJ, for having us back. We're doing wonderful, and we're so excited to be here.
Well, how are the elephants doing? And tell us a little bit, in case, because not everybody might have seen you the last time you were on. Tell us a little bit about your organization, Gentle Giants, which is like the perfect name, of course.
Of course. So Gentle Giants is a nonprofit that was born because of COVID-19. There were many elephants that had to walk back to their villages with their owners or mahouts, caretakers, because they were starving to death because there were no tourists in Thailand. And the venues that they rent them there said, well, no work, no tourists, no money, goodbye. You're on your own. So that's when we set up Gentle Giants, the nonprofit, to be able to help these beautiful, gentle beings and their human families survive this terrible COVID crisis. So fast forward to today, we have under our care about 138 elephants. For each elephant, you have to keep in mind that there are 3 or 4 families, meaning it could be 20 people just per elephant. So we have been able to help hundreds of elephants and thousands of people. And we have also been able to give a lot of work over there. We have helped the local farmers because everything is thanks to the elephants. So when the farmers were with their crops, not having tourists to sell their crops to, the fruit, this delicious fruit they have, we then went in and started buying the fruit so that it could be fed to the elephants. So it's been a ripple effect of love, kindness, and compassion that has been throughout, Thailand. We have elephants. We're helping elephants in villages and camps in all corners of Thailand. So it's been a real amazing journey. And it's all thanks to people like you, Chef AJ, that has helped us, for people to become aware of our organization and all our donors and supporters and our allies. This is something that cannot be accomplished on our own. We're all a great part of this puzzle, part of a beautiful symphony.
Mandy watching live remembers you from the last time we were on and wants to know how the last campaign went.
Holmes?
Which campaign?
This was for the brace. Or Mamai's brace.
Oh, for the Bionic Giants. We have exciting news coming up soon, but you guys have to wait. Derek, unfortunately, was in a horrible motorcycle accident in November. Thankfully, he's fully recovered. He is back working on finishing up the prosthesis and orthotics for the elephants and Mr. Cow. He's moving right along. Now, the reason it's taking so long is you have to remember these are huge animals. The knee brace for Mamai is the first of its kind. So we are blessed to have Derek working on this project with us because he is incredible at engineering these products for these animals. But it requires special materials and, very strong joints because the elephant's going to walk, and we have to make sure the brace is going to stay on. We have to make sure that the joints aren't going to break. So we're getting there. But stay tuned. We'll have exciting news for you very soon on it.
Very, very, very soon. So, yes. Your donations you're going to see what's happened to all your donations, and you're just going to be blown away. You're going to be so happy. Yes. So happy.
You're saying you're going to save 55 forest elephants.
Yes. So, Chef AJ, this is just like when you plant the seed and it blossoms into a beautiful forest or a beautiful tree or flower. This is what has happened with Om Koi. Om Koi is in Chiang Mai, part of Chiang Mai, but it's up the mountain and it's just the most beautiful place I personally have ever been to. I mean, it's just like magical. And we're calling this program, it's called Om Koi Evolution, because really, when we are taking part of this program, of this progress, of this evolution, we are evolving as human beings, but not because we're bringing technology, not because we are going to be in cyberspace like we are normally now every day, but because we're going back to where we should be always, which is Mother Nature, understanding that we are all interconnected, that we are all part of this beautiful, beautiful chain of life. And when we were at Koi, that's the experience we had. So how did this begin? About a year ago, when I was talking to my friend and partner now, Black Charlotte from Elephant Nature Park Save Elephant Foundation, we were on the phone and she was extremely, extremely sad. And she told me, I'm so sad. And I said, why, what's going on? And she told me tomorrow, 38 elephants are going to be sold into the logging industry. And we're talking about female elephants with their babies, all of them, 100% of them. And I said, what do you mean? And she said, yes, Diana, they have no option. These people, these owners are just dying. They're starving and their elephants are starving. So they have no other option. And I said, like they do, we'll take them. And actually, we did campaign for them. It was called Saving the Precious 38. And people, as I say, everything that we have accomplished is thanks to our supporters and donors. They all jumped in and we raised enough money to be able to keep them home. We didn't know how much it was going to, how this was going to change. And just like right now, what's blossomed to. So these people had never been able to experience their elephants as they have, seeing them in the forest. And remember that these young men are sent from their families to the trekking camps, and they have to live far from their families for many, many years without seeing either their parents or their wives, their children. So now that we had given them these young men back to their parents and to their wives, and they're seeing their children, now that the borders open, they called us and they called Lek and said, we don't want to go back to trekking. Can you help us? And Lek said, absolutely. She called me immediately and said, Diana, what do you think? And I said, absolutely. Colby and I talked, absolutely. So we packed, Colby, Lek said, you have to come. This is very important. So the plan was that 35 were going to stay home if we promised to support them financially while we set up a volunteer program so that they could become self-sustainable. If we promise to send them every month what they need to be able to live, it was going to be 35. And Lex said, you guys have to come. This is very important. They want to meet the people behind this organization that has made it possible for them to be home until now. So Colby and I, having families as everyone does, and just being like a week away from Thanksgiving, we had to put our family second and just pack everything, drop everything, and just go to save these beautiful 35 initially. And I'll let Colby share how it became 55.
So we get there, and I'm telling you, this is something to experience. Diana and I were in awe. We went to the top of the mountain, and there's this mist, and Diana explains it beautifully. There's this mist at the top of the mountain that you literally walk through. It's like coming from one world to another world. And you honestly magically forget about this outside world where everything is so busy, and phones and computers and hustle and material things and all this, and you feel this sincere serenity of peace. It was incredible. The sunrises were beautiful. The environment, the landscape is gorgeous. It's truly a magical place. So we get there. Diana, me, and Lek are standing in front of all of these owners in mahouts who are looking a little bit meh. Who are these women and why are they here from America to help us? Which was one of their questions. And we said, because we love elephants, because Asia is where wild elephants are. We don't have wild elephants around the world. You know, they're only in certain places. They're a keystone species. We have to keep them in their natural habitat, not only for the elephants, but for the environment, because they are forest engineers and create habitats for other animals, and they help seed dispersal and all that. It's very important for the reclamation of the forests in Thailand, which have been depleted from the logging industry. So it also helps reduce the carbon footprint, which is very important. So, okay, so we're standing there. They're all looking a little bit like, we're not too sure about this. And then a few of the other owners and mahouts stood up and spoke to the group. And then a young man who was looking very intent raised his hand very strongly. And we asked him, yes. And he asked if we would take 20 more. So our 35 became 55. And Diana, me, and Lek were like trying to figure out numbers and stuff. And of course, we were not going to say no. We had an opportunity, which we have to take when it comes, because tomorrow we don't know what would happen. Those 20 could have gone to logging. So of course we said yes. So our wonderful 35 became 55. and we were a little shell-shocked, but extremely, extremely blessed and excited that we now had 55 elephants who they wanted to keep home and change their way of life and create a new way of life where they can be with their families, support their families, and their elephants can just be in the forest. And I would like to say one thing really quickly is we have 13 babies right now, more on the way. None of these babies are from captive breeding. All of them are from living naturally in the forest from male wild elephants. It's their choice. If they choose to engage and reproduce and have a baby, that's their choice. We're not, you know, there's nothing forced upon them like in captive breeding. And we do have another one that we have 2 newborns and we have 1 on the way. So we're very excited about that as well.
So our 55, who knows how many of the girls are actually pregnant, but it is very exciting too. You know, while we were there on the night that we were sleeping, we had thought that we would step out and, you know, maybe walk around, and they said, no, it's best you stay, because the wild elephants, because they brought all of these beautiful females together, it was 35 elephants they were going to introduce to us. And they were, you know, they were so proud. And I want to say something. In the first video, all of these elephants were wearing chains. And of course, it's something that we didn't want for the elephants to have chains and everything. But we do understand that this has been their way for all their lives. And this is just the first step of change. And because never 35, this is completely unheard of having 35 elephants that don't know each other brought together. It was they wanted to feel that they had the command, and they were had their elephants under control if anything were to happen. Now, there was absolutely no violence, no one was being brutal, nothing, but they did have chains. And I know many people were like, oh my God, they have chains. Yes, but I also wanted people to understand, and we all wanted people to understand, and Lek was explaining it, you know, this is the first step to unchain them. The chains are coming off. The change is happening. And right now, what I was going to say is that while we were sleeping, you could hear the footsteps of the wild elephants, because they knew their girls were very close. So it was very exciting. You could even, you know, you could see the constellation. It was just like amazing. It's just a magical place. And what Colby was saying, when we were entering Om Koi, Lek and I jumped out of the car, as Colby did. We all, because it was just like Mother Nature saying, come in, this is my world, this is where I have my children, and this is where I want, to keep them in a safe, beautiful forest. I've never seen such beautiful mountains. I've never seen such beautiful forests. And this is where they belong. This is where they have to stay. So it is a great undertaking. And, we need all the support that we can get every month to keep these elephants home. We need to be able to send about 30,000 US dollars. It's not a little amount. And of course, that's only for 55, and we have in total 129. So now you can imagine the amount that we have to come up with monthly. But as Colby said, this was just an awesome opportunity that we could not let go.
And what was really beautiful to see is, okay, so they have the 35 elephants up on this flat place, and it was a little bit, everybody was a little bit nervous because we had no idea what was going to happen. They've never been all together. But what was really beautiful, as time passed, they started forming little herds. And you could kind of tell they were forming little herds based on, here's mamas with little babies over here. And then down at the far end were the very vocal group.
Ones, yes.
And they were roaring and trunk popping. But it was very wonderful to see that they were already greeting each other and forming little groups. And it was truly beautiful. And like Diana said, nothing at all happened. And we even posted a video, and I'll let Diana explain the chain-free shelter, but we posted a video of them removing the chains off of the ones that are in the chain-free shelter, which is the first of its kind up there. So I'll let Diana explain that more.
So because this is such steep terrain, literally the mountain is like this. I don't even know how they stand up. Like if you look, you can stand at the edge and look down, and it's completely like this. So the babies and the mamas, they have their baby in the forest, and then the babies have to start going up and down this mountain. So what was happening is that many of the babies were falling to their death. Literally, they would fall, and we got a call I think it was about 2 or 3 months ago, from the headmaster over there. And Chuck Chai told us, can you please help us build a shelter? He didn't really specify if it was chain free or not free or whatever. He just wanted a shelter to be able to keep the babies and the mothers safe. And absolutely, we went on ahead and built the chain free shelter, which houses 6 elephants. And these 6 elephants are able now to sleep and nurse and rest in a nice, warm, safe place. We put in sand. I do want to give a shout out to Peace for Animals, which helped us with the funds, also part of the funds to build the shelter. And everyone from around the world, that started donating. Each shelter cost $20,000. And the cost of this is because we have to make them chain free, and to be able to keep an elephant chain free, it really has to be rugged material. It can't just be little wood that they will push over and just leave. So, it has to be made out of concrete. It has to have enough space. So it was actually fascinating to see the pride of these mahouts bring in the baby and the newborn, who we're calling, because the baby still hasn't been named properly. We call this little boy TG Baby, Tiny Giant Baby, and his mother, who had always been in chains, and the baby is just born. And we have Kurtmai, her mama, and a nanny come into the shelter, and when they take the chains off, the mother, it's just the most beautiful moment. And of course, they don't know how to react. It's not something they're used to. And some of them will stand still, like, now what do you want me to do? But little by little, you start to see them coming out of this, of the shell. So of course, now we have to raise funds. So if anyone can please help and support us, that would be wonderful, because we have a chain-free shelter for 6, but now we have 49 elephants waiting. So for us to be able to, build chain-free shelters for them as well.
And the shelters are important. So at night, they have a safe place from the environment. The babies and the mamas can rest, because before the shelter, when a baby was born, that was it. They just went right out into the forest. And those little babies, they have a hard time going up and down those steep cliffs. And it's very hard for the moms to rest, to nurse their babies. And I have to say, this shelter is amazing. So we're talking about this climb up into the mountain on this dirt road. And they built this amazing, beautiful shelter that has the concrete pillars and it has the tin roof and all the welded steel. It's really amazing that they were able to even get the stuff up the mountain and then build it. It's absolutely amazing. And that shows their motivation. They built that shelter before asking for our help to stay home. And they're very, very motivated to change. You know, like Diana said, they came to us. We didn't propose anything to them. And they really want to make a change. You know, one thing we did while we were there was Lek and her staff were teaching the women how to make bracelets. And it's very important to empower the women and give them the opportunity to help support their family and contribute and feel important and have self-worth and all of that stuff. And they were making these bracelets, and Diana and I said that Gigi would buy their bracelets, and boy, they jumped on it. We're making the bracelets, and we showed them, and they were amazed that they could make these bracelets and make money that they've never made before. So now they can contribute to, you know, the women have their own money. They can contribute to their family, their own needs, whatever it is. And hopefully, as we get volunteers and it becomes an ethical project, they will be able to sell those types of things to the people who visit, which will also help them become self-sustaining. So it was, you know, it was really wonderful to see how happy they were to learn something different from, you know, I mean, they already create beautiful things. Their clothing is incredible, and their, you know, their weaving and everything. But it was very heartwarming to see them so happy to be engaged and willing to want to try something different.
Wow. You know, I'm looking on your website because I love the T-shirts that you both are wearing, and I'm wondering, can people buy those?
Well, right now these T-shirts were just made in Thailand for all the group of the mahouts and everything, which says Gentle Giants Evolution Om Koi. So we don't have them up for sale yet. We would have to look for that, but absolutely we could get you one.
Well, maybe you could show the camera. Just the purple. It's beautiful.
Yes, it is. And there's all different colors.
It says Gentle Giants.
Yeah, I would wear that. I love that so much. And, you know, one of the interesting things, because I've been posting the link to your link tree, which shows different ways to donate, but I didn't realize you could send a cake to an elephant.
Oh my goodness. And they are, let me tell you that these cakes are just the most nutritional things for the elephants. And each elephant, depending on who you send the cake to, will get what they like the most in the cake. So let's say you send it to Mamai. Mamai is the one that's going to be getting her knee brace. She loves bananas and she loves watermelons, but she doesn't like pumpkin. So they will never put pumpkin on her cake. And they make the most beautiful cakes. You can personalize it. Like if it's for your boy Bailey, who I know you love so much, your little boy, you could put have his name written on the cake and said in the video whatever you wish to say, in the video, and while the elephant is eating the cake. So it's a very special thing. And actually, these cakes are so beautifully done. It's a great celebration. It could be used. We've had them done for weddings and for anniversaries and for Christmas that's coming up right now, celebrating the new year. Gender revelation, if you want to show your family, that it's going to be a boy or a girl, they do with the flowers, they will give this purple colors or blue or pink. It's just the most amazing, beautiful things that you can do with these cakes. they carve out each letter to spell whatever you want on the cake out of fruit. So it's just everything is just done with so much love and so much dedication.
We
And
just put a holiday video up on our YouTube channel. If you just search Gentle Giants Nonprofit, it'll show you many of the cakes that have been made. There's all kinds, and they're just incredible, and they're very affordable. And then you get emailed pictures and a video that you can then share with your family or whoever you got the cake for, or just for yourself, or, you know, Christmas, the holidays are a really nice time, or birthdays, because you can't always be, especially in this day and time, you can't always visit your loved ones. You know, a lot of us are having to stay home or not travel. So for Christmas, if you want to celebrate something, you know, you could do a Zoom call and show the video. It's the babies are adorable to watch, you know, baby Chaba and Juan Mai, they slide through the cake, and they, you know, I mean, it's a lot of fun. And the cakes, they really put a lot of work into them, and they are beautiful.
And these cakes are not only a gift for the elephants. With these cakes, we are able to employ people. We're able to we buy the fruit from the local farmers. So we are helping the local farmers, and we are helping the staff from Elephant Nature Park to continue being employed. So, you know, all of this is really, really important. The cake is for the elephants, but behind all that, there's so much more support that is being received by, you know, for the farmers, for the staff and their families. This is the way that we have been able to help EMP staff stay employed, and also the local farmers continue in business and feed their own families. So it's really a beautiful, beautiful gift that just keeps giving.
Right. Becky has a couple of questions. Where exactly are you helping these elephants? Where in the world? And what do they do in logging?
Okay, so we are helping these elephants. Right now, Gentle Giants is focused in helping the elephants in Thailand, although we have helped elephants in in Nepal, and we've helped elephants in Nepal, and we have, you know, helped other organizations making donations to them. But it's mainly in Thailand. And logging is, so the logging industry, it's the worst of the worst industry for an elephant. So what they do is that they will take down the tree, and the elephant will be, they put a harness on the elephant, and he or she have to pull huge logs up and down steep hills or mountains. And it's a it's a brutal industry. And many of these elephants are drugged. They're drugged so that it gives them more energy and strength to be able to pull this. Many times what they do is that they will have the baby, a mother and a baby, and they will have the baby walking in the front so that the mother pulls and pulls their you know, the baby's the bait. It's a horrible, horrible thing. They suffer a lot, and many of them end up dying, overworked. Many of them are crippled because of it. The logs will roll over and break their legs, and many times, no, there's no time that they receive any medical care. Also, because of what's happened, and this is what we're doing with the bionic giants, is that many of these forests were war zones back in the day. So they have left landmines, and these elephants pulling these logs will step in a landmine and their feet are blown off. So it's just the worst and saddest and horrific industry to be in. So this is why with Om Koi, I say it's a seed that was planted. We never imagined what it would blossom into being this beautiful new project and program and hope. It was because they were going to be sent there, and it's better. We never thought they would want to stay with us after COVID was gone, but it's better for an elephant to be in trekking, meaning with tourists, although it's horrible and brutal as well, than logging. Logging definitely is like the worst of the worst of the worst.
It's just
and logging is illegal. So Om Koi sits right on the border of Myanmar, and Myanmar is still doing logging, which it's illegal. But because China fuels the trade for the wood from Thailand, it continues. So how do you stop it? People have to stop buying this exported wood. It's the only way to stop it, just like it's the tourist's job to stop riding the elephants. Otherwise, it will continue. As long as there's money going into these industries, they will continue. So people have to be aware that when you go buy, you know, this gorgeous wood from Thailand, this is what's happening behind the scenes. Or when you ride an elephant for 5 minutes, this is what's happening behind the scenes. So there's a lot that goes on that I don't think people even understand when they are doing things that they need to become more aware of, because the people really hold the key to ending a lot of this.
Well, this is not pleasant to hear, but you know, we can't close our eyes to this. So it's important that people know.
It is absolutely. And, you know, in this, we had another beautiful relationship was born now that we went to do this with Om Koi, and it's with Roars for Elephant. This is a Japanese couple that they are journalists, and they are doing a documentary. Right now, it's addressed mostly for Japan, and they were telling us, you know, that in Japan, people are completely unaware. They have been sharing their documentaries coming out in 2023 because they were up there with us in Om Koi. They have been helping us because they know all the support that we need to be able to keep these 55 safe. But so they have been helping us by sharing on their Instagram, which we will share. You know, please follow them. They're actually wonderful to do this. And they're going to start doing a documentary on this because they say that Japan is completely unaware. And the few people that have become aware of what's really going on, what it means to have an elephant in the tourist industry or logging industry or any of this, are really having a change of heart. And I think that's what happens in all humans when we become aware that our supposed love or admiration or anything is the reason why these elephants suffer so much. Then we don't want to be a part of it. And they're doing great job. They're doing great work. The documentary is also about Om Koi, is also about Gentle Giants. And of course, it's about Lex Charlotte and her amazing work and the way she's changing everyone's awareness of captive elephants.
You know, you sent me a little video. I'm going to do my best to share my screen. Okay. It was sent in a file that I'm not really recognizing it, but let's see if it works. Okay.
Okay.
Because that would be amazing to share this if I could. I hope you guys can see this. Is there more? Oh, these are photos. Yeah, these are great.
Yes. So
that's the shelter.
That is the shelter, and that's the moment that this mother, for the first time, has the chains taken off her feet, which is very, very emotional. It's very, you know, it's a real important moment. That it says the shelter donated by Gentle Giants, Peace for Animals, and Save Elephant Foundation, our partner. So it's a very, very emotional. And if you see these babies, they have never had chains on their feet. They have never been broken, or they've never had their spirit broken. And this is the way we want it to be for them. We don't want them to ever suffer. And the wonderful thing about this, Chef AJ, is that right now, as we speak, just 2 days ago, 21 mahouts and owners arrived to Elephant Nature Park to be retrained, to be taught a kinder way. Because these people, because they have never, ever seen their elephants more than working machines, even though they say they love their elephants, and it's absolutely true, but they don't know a better way. So what happens is that it's very important to retrain them, to teach them how they can be kind, They don't have to fear their elephants, and how they can get their elephants to do things without them having to harm them, without, just by offering them food, just by letting them be elephants, So it's a really, a tremendous process where you're teaching these people how to be kind and compassionate and tolerant and gentle with their gentle ones. But the fantastic thing about these people is that they are willing to put in the work. They are willing to do everything they can to stay home and to actually give their elephants the beautiful life they deserve. And that has to be recognized. Many times you go, oh, these disgusting people, they treat the elephants. But we have to realize that they don't know better. And we have to build bridges, and we have to communicate. And they are meeting us more than halfway. They have now left the mountain, driven down 8 hours to Elephant Nature Park, and they're going to be spending a whole week there learning how to, from the mahouts at Elephant Nature Park, how to treat an elephant, learning from the best of the best, which is like Charlotte, how to be kind, how to be loving, how to coexist without having to abuse anyone.
Oh, you would think that would be like not something you need to teach, but I'm thankful that you're doing that. My favorite part is when he knocks the guy's hat off.
Yeah.
I watch it twice. That was hilarious.
It was, yes.
Yeah.
That is, like we say, that is something that we wouldn't need to teach. But look, in reality, this is their culture, and it's been handed down from generation to generation for thousands of years, that elephants, to be tamed, they have to be tamed like this, and you have to keep them, you have to continue brutalizing, because they're so intelligent that at the moment they will break away or react or whatever, when it's proven time and time again that they are extremely intelligent beings that could be compared to humans, as they treat their children, as the love for their children and their love for each other. But they are also gentle. And if you treat them with gentleness, respect, and love, they in return do the same. It's just like us.
There's a viewer asking, why don't they just leave the elephants alone?
Well, these are captive elephants. Most of them, or if not all of them, were born in captivity. So as we explained, there are wild elephants. These elephants now require humans to take care of them. It's not something that the humans, you can't just set them free. They depend on humans. Unfortunately, it's not something that we'd like. And many of these owners really have a bond with them. There was a beautiful, not from Om Koi, this is from another group that we went to visit, that we're supporting, and they were very, very nervous, thinking that once the borders open, we were going to pull our support away. And they have 2 elephants. This is from Oasis, Elephant Oasis. And there was this young, the father and the son, a very young man, 17 years old. And he was so nervous, almost brought to tears, thinking that we were going to pull the support now starting January. We said, absolutely not. And he said, they're my best friends. He said it in English. He speaks English a little bit. So he said, they're my best friends. They really have a bond. But more than that, and I'm not saying that because they have a bond, they should keep them. Absolutely not. If elephants were able to go back to the forest and live completely wild and free, we would go all for it. But because they have been so long in captivity, it's just impossible. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to live alone. It's something that is not possible. They can't be rewild because they have never been wild.
Another problem with that is we're thankful Om Koi has such a beautiful forest, but not everyone has access to land. So many of the elephants in our project don't have anywhere to send them into the wild. They lease land, or it's owned by someone else, or that's a huge problem. So there's not enough room at sanctuary because they're out of land and trying to get more, but there's really not, these people don't own enough land to just let their elephants go wild. It is another big problem. So they have to lease the land, which means they have to care for the land and make sure the elephants don't go into the farmers' crops. So that's why they have to have a mahout with them.
Exactly.
know.
And wild elephants would attack captive
Yeah.
elephants. It has to, it's really, really a very, it's not an easy answer. It's not like we could say, oh yes, let's do this and that's it. There's a lot of things that come into play. It's not, we would love for it to be as easy as to say, just put them in the forest, let them be elephants forever, and say goodbye to them. And it just doesn't happen like that. Also, these people are very into, well, now how am I going to earn a living? It's not a perfect world, and we would love for it to be. But I think that it's a huge step forward when you are walking this world now with kindness and compassion towards them.
Well, people are commenting in the chat that elephants in zoos and circuses don't have a great life either.
Oh,
They
no,
don't.
not at all.
Absolutely. The best. So if for all elephants in zoos and all elephants in the circus, which for me, the circus is worse than the zoo, but it depends on the zoo as well. But the next best step is sanctuary, a true sanctuary. So, if you can't expect an elephant who has been brutalized, tortured, they have lost their own identity, to just throw them into the wild and say, well, good luck and goodbye. It has to be with baby steps. Do we wish that the babies in Om Koi one day are able to go and roam free? Oh, absolutely. Is that our dream? Oh, yes. But right now we have to live the present. And right now what we want is for those babies, first, for the mothers to have those chains taken off their feet forever, for them never to have to go back to work, and for their babies never to be broken and never have to experience chains anywhere in their body. So, it's a process. It's a process. And the long-term goal would be for the babies to be as wild as possible. But for now, the short-term goal is to keep them home, to keep them safe, and to be able to accomplish this.
And there's a similar problem with, let's just take circuses. So if a circus decides to release their elephants, which is highly unlikely, but if they do, because they're starting to ban circuses everywhere, there aren't enough sanctuaries. There's nowhere for them to go, so they will probably go to a zoo. It's the same problem, everywhere. There's just nowhere to send them. And many people are like, yes, let's ban all wild animal entertainment, which is fabulous. But we have to think about, then what? Okay, so it's all been banned and they can't use these animals. So what do we do with them? You have to have a plan for the future. Otherwise, they get sold to Russia, where they still have wild animal entertainment. They get, they die of starvation. So, there has to be progress and planning other than let's just end this. And that's one thing we're trying to do in Thailand is there are no tourists. We don't know if or when they'll come back, if that'll ever even be the same before COVID, the same as it was. So we have to plan on what do we do now that they're all home. And that's what we're trying to do, is keep them home and show the communities a different way to earn a living without exploiting the elephants.
Monarch's saying that they've banned the Canadian zoos have finally banned elephant rides. So that's good.
Yes.
And yes. Diane Devon said she donated. Thank you so much. I put a link.
Thank you, Diane.
Yep. Yes, thank you, Diane. And the cake thing, I'd order a cake for me. They're so beautiful. You guys should check that out. I'd order one if you'd send it to me.
Exactly. Absolutely. Is that it's just the most amazing. These cakes are just so beautiful. And it's baby steps. We all want change immediately. And unfortunately, it doesn't happen overnight as we would like. But I want to tell everyone over there, everyone that is watching that loves elephants, what's happened in Om Koi that has Thailand in shock. They were like, what? 55 elephants all at once have been taken out of the trekking industry. And, what are we going to do? Many people were actually the ones, the trekking venues were furious because they didn't have those 55 elephants. When the tourists come back, they were furious. What's happened is unheard of, and it's coming from the planted seed a year ago, blossoming into this, where the owners saw a different opportunity. So it comes to show that when people are shown a different way, they really see the benefit, they want to really change. They really want to do something new.
You have to give people options. You have to show people new things. You can't just expect them to change when they don't have any idea of how to go about it, or that there is even another way. And I know a lot of people that say, well, why don't they just do this or that? Well, they don't know. So it's about education and awareness, and building bridges and working with other people to show, here's this other way.
How did you both get into this, interested in this? You don't even live in the same area. And how did this come to be?
Well, I've loved animals all my life. I can't recall. I think I was born to love animals and to dedicate my life to them. And I just see all animals as my equals. I believe that all of them have the right to live, and all of them have, the right to be able to enjoy their life as I would like to enjoy my life. And about 7 or 8 years ago, I just decided to start helping elephants. And I just went to Thailand, saw some things, and came back and put all my social media public, and started joining different elephant groups and just seeing ways of helping them. And thankfully, I never expected it to be this, but it came to this, and it's actually an amazing blessing. Like, this is like my life purpose, the reason I was born. It's been shown to me, just like anything in the world, I guess, when you really put your heart and soul to it.
Yeah. What do they eat in the wild if nobody's messing with them?
You want to answer that, Colbs?
Eat the vegetation. That's I mean, elephants know what they can and cannot eat. They know what's medicinal. They know, I mean, they're very intelligent animals. Now, wild elephants teach the younger ones what to eat, what not to eat. They aren't born with those instincts. So captive elephants, they learn when they go back into the forest. They eat a lot of bamboo, palms,
flowers,
bananas. They love bananas.
But how do they eat the bananas? They actually peel. I mean, I'm just trying to.
No, they eat them whole.
Exactly. And it depends. It depends because, like, for example, an older elephant, for their digestion, will literally peel the banana and just eat the banana. The younger ones will stuff the banana whole, and they just love them. They know how, they will be, remember that elephants will go along the forest, taking trees down and eating the leaves, and they have an amazing way of just taking what they need. That with their trunk, they will close the end part of their trunk and pull all the leaves and just put them inside. And remember that when they are walking, this is why they disperse the seeds, because whatever they will normally come out as it went in. So, this is why everything starts to grow into another forest. So they know exactly what to eat. Bamboo, the leaves, trees, the flowers. They like certain flowers that are very sweet. If they have access to fruit, they will have, in their natural habitat, they will pick the ripe fruit. And, just like us, many of them don't like the bitterness of certain fruits, and they will avoid it. And everything, they just eat a lot of the trees that they find along the way.
If they have access to corn, which is usually only in captivity, because they spray the crops with pesticides, but elephants will shuck the corn. Some eat pineapples whole, some crush them, some
Because
eat water.
you said they love watermelon, but I mean, when I was watching the video, it looked like they were picking it up with their trunk and putting it in their
Oh,
mouth.
they'll eat it whole.
But how can they can actually pick up a watermelon?
Yeah.
Oh my God, they could pick up. Let me tell you that right
A
now when we were
sunflower
with
seed.
that. Yeah, they have like in their trunk and in the tip they have a little finger. Okay, so when they are grabbing something really big, they will gather it with their arm with their trunk like this, like an arm, and put it on as if it were here in the forearm. They will go and take it to their mouth. But when they find something really tiny, they will do it like this. They will pinch and take to their mouth. So they are able to bring very small things to their mouth. And when something is very big and they rather have it in small pieces, what they do is they put it on the ground, they step on it, and then they crush it and they will start eating it from the ground. So they are amazing. You know, it's another fascinating thing to see with an elephant and their children is the way they hug their children with their trunk, just like any mother or of a human or a fur child. The way you hug your child, they do the same thing with their trunk. They will hold their babies back if they need, just by putting their trunk out, putting it on their chest, like stay still. It's very, if you sit back, and this is what we want when we open up the volunteer program with Om Koi, that people will be able to go and see them, but at a respectful distance and just observe them. People will be able to see how very much like us they are, the way they react. There was a baby at the park, at Elephant Nature Park, and he was playing with his older sister, and the sister was a little rough with him, and the baby fell, and the mother was watching. She ran over to the baby. She did speak something to the baby girl, picked up her baby boy and slammed her trunk, just like when you say, I told you not to do that. It's really funny how they react. You could see the expression on the mother's face being angry. There were also two mothers, their children were playing, and one of the babies was very rough with the younger one. And the nanny or the other mother kind of spanked the one that wasn't her child. And the mother turned around and she was furious. And they went like head on, like when you say, no, 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 you don't touch my child. So, you know, they're very much like us. They react like us. They have very similar things. So just using their hands, or how do they pick up food? It's very much like we would pick it.
You know, it's so much more enjoyable to sit back at a distance where they don't see you and watch them be elephants and interact. They're very similar to humans versus having a mahout there with the chains on their feet and the elephant just standing there for a selfie or for you to touch them. It's so much more of an experience to watch them communicate with each other vocally, through touch, watch them play, watch them fight, watch them express themselves, just eat, watch them swim. You get so much more out of it than just an elephant who's standing in fear for you to, you know. And tourists need, I think tourists, if they would just do it one time, they would change their ways. You know, you just get so much more of an experience.
Where did this idea of elephants eating peanuts come from?
Oh, it's a misconception. Yes, elephants don't like peanuts.
So the circus, when the circus started, they started selling peanuts to feed to the elephants as a gimmick to make more money. Peanuts are actually not good for elephants. They're too high in protein. And elephants eat a the protein is lower, and the, you know, they eat very little protein. They need some, but it's opposite of what you know, some people think. But they can't, now they can eat the shells, the fiber in the shells help them, but, and they can occasionally have peanuts, but peanuts don't even grow in elephants' natural habitats. So it's not even a natural food. So giving them lots of peanuts is actually very bad for their digestive system.
They don't even like them. They really don't even like peanuts. Yeah. So forget, it's a myth. It's you know, something that someone came up with it to make money, and that's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is so that, yeah, I wonder where that came from, because it's not true even.
It's not. They don't like peanuts. The elephants are not fond of peanuts. They're fond of fruit and vegetables, and they love their veggies. They love their fruit and their leaves, but not peanuts.
And they're vegan.
Yeah, absolutely. They're the most beautiful giant vegans that tell you, look how gorgeous I am, and I don't need anyone else. They are the best ambassadors for veganism that I could think of, because this is, yes, they eat only leaves and fruit and all of this, but this is the look how gorgeous they are, how healthy they are, how big they are, how strong they are, and they're not out there killing anyone else. They don't need to.
Well, I have a question. Where do they get their protein?
that's the question that all vegan people also are asked all the time, right? And just like the vegan, the protein they get is from nature, from Mother Nature provides it enough for them.
Wow. Thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
No, thank you for having us. It's really, Chef AJ, it really is. No one can do this alone. And everyone that supports us, you and your audience, and everyone out there that donates and supports, it's really because of all of you that this has been possible. And really, we have to thank each and everyone, from the people that share and donate, support, raise awareness, raise their voice, all of the people that are walking this journey with us.
You think it would help if somebody made a documentary about this and put it on Netflix, so that, because I didn't know about this until I met you. I mean, I knew about zoos and circuses, but I really don't know much about what's going on in other countries.
Like I said, they're making a documentary, Roars for Elephants, which is a Japanese place, but of course it would help. Anything that, any documentary, anything that gets us out there, really showing the before and the after of how elephants can live, how elephants actually live in the trekking camps and the tourist industry, to how they can live happily with their herd, with their children, and not having to cater and entertain humans. If we could just show the before and the after and how magical it is, I think it would be just amazing.
Yeah, let's hope for a better world. Thank you, ladies, so much for the work.
Thank you.
Thank you so
much.
much.
And have a very happy holidays. And you can help an elephant have a happy holiday by sending them a cake. Who knew?
Yes, please. If anyone that wants to order a cake for Christmas, the deadline is December 22nd. For New Year's is December 28th. Yes, 28th.
You can also sponsor an elephant. If you would like to give a beautiful certificate and sponsor an elephant, they're great stocking stuffers, or you don't have to wrap, you don't have to stand in line, you don't have to go shopping. You just click I want to sponsor this baby or this mama, or we have, I don't even know how many, 100 and some up for sponsorship. So it's on our website.
The rice balls, you could send them rice balls. You have no idea how amazing. We had farmers that were raising growing their rice, and they didn't have to sell it to, and then all of a sudden they said, well, elephants like rice, and they put rice, they put the banana and the rice and blah blah blah. And the whole community, this happened in Surin, the whole community came together to make these rice balls. And they have just been so happy because, of course, we gave employment to the people. The elephants are thrilled to be eating and getting these delicious treats. So you can find that all in our.
Oh, and the rice balls. You have to have a rice ball sometime. They're delicious. We ate one when we were in Thailand. They're just fabulous.
Wow. So when somebody says you eat like an elephant, I'm like, yeah, it's delicious.
Exactly. It's really, like I said, I need to try a rice ball when we were in Thailand. And also, of course, and it's packed. They put it in the banana leaf. It's beautiful. It's presented so beautifully. And then you open it up and it's just a big ball of rice, but it has banana and mango and a whole bunch of seeds. Oh my God, it's delicious. delicious. Like for humans, for elephants, or for everyone, it's just absolutely delicious.
That's so good.
Full of nutrition.
So many people like Marianne and Elisa and Angela and Diane are donating. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
We greatly appreciate it.
Yes. Well, thank you guys. And thanks all of you for watching another episode of Chef AJ Live. Please come back tomorrow. We're starting early at 9 a.m. because we have 6 chefs doing the holiday cook along. Thank you so much, Colby and Diana. Take care.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.